Hey there, today's project is how to go ahead and install the power cord onto a new range, a new oven. These ranges do not ship with the power cords, and that could very well be the reason, because they could be sold in different countries with different power voltage requirements. So it's important to identify the correct power cord with the correct connection type, and obviously that all ties in with what type of an outlet is in the wall. So you want to make sure you get the right connection type. This is a NEMA plug. There are a few different variations of that. And it's a simple matter of connecting the wires and the grounding to the existing connections behind that access panel. So the objective is to remove this access panel, connect the cable, run it through a little punch out at the bottom, and then connect the oven. I'm also going to install a little anti-tip little device that usually will ship with ovens in case the door is open and kids are trying to climb up and could conceivably tip the oven over. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and suggest you wear gloves where you can. The metal edges on these ovens can be extremely sharp and they can cause pretty bad cuts. So just be careful about that. Alright, this panel here, looks like there's a couple of Phillips screws here at the bottom. And I might need a bigger bit, so let me get a bigger bit head. Let's go ahead and loosen these up. And these are a little tight here, factory tight. Okay. And these are good and tight, yeah. Alright, take them out, set them aside where you won't lose them. Release the panel. There you go, that's all it is here. And actually notice you got a little pass-through here for the cord to come up and through and then connect it to the little nuts here already in place. Alright, to go ahead and prepare these terminals here for the new power cord, we're going to go ahead and loosen these outer nuts one at a time. Okay, one. You need kind of a deep socket here in this case, since these thread portions protrude quite a ways here. Okay, 2 of 3. You only want to loosen, in this case, the outer nut here. The inner nuts are securing the existing wiring for the range. Okay, there's 3. Okay. Alright, with this power cord I also have this strain relief apparatus, which is designed to have the wires for the power cord to pass up through the inside as it goes through the bottom, and then this will tighten on the cord and sit within that little section there to prevent any type of pull or tension from creating unnecessary strain on the wire connections or terminals. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and take this cable tensioner here. It's got these 2 tabs that can insert up and through the bottom as such. Now we're going to go ahead and open up the gap in between them so we can permit sending the wire up through that tensioner. Now you make sure here, if the wire that you purchase is pre-tipped, you see these little forks, you want to make sure that the little forks that are pointing out are coming away from the oven facing towards you. Now the middle of the 3 is the ground here, and the power on the outsides. So I'm going to go ahead and run this up through that grommet and up through the tensioner at the bottom. Okay, now that'll be adjusted, but let's go ahead and get these connected here using the nuts that were removed earlier. Now you want to make sure that little horseshoe, that little hook is firmly set on the shaft of the bolt. It's going to be a little touchy here with gloves on, and there we go. And you know what? Just going to have to go without the glove for now. So I can thread these nuts back on again, and then we'll tighten them down when we're ready. Okay, that's the left, here's the center, and then the right. Now where'd that runaway nut go? Here we go. And the third one here. Now this is a heavy gauge wire here, so you want to make sure that you're able to seat these wires firmly on the terminals properly so it makes a good sound connection. And then tighten them in, and just as soon as it's fully tightened, you want to make sure that the wire is completely seated there. The little forks will hold it in place. We're going to come back and retighten them once everything is in place. And I assure you, these edges are sharp, so be careful. If you can at all wear a glove while doing so, be sure you do. And again, these are some deep, need some deep sockets here. Nice and tight, nice and tight. You want to make sure it grabs for a positive connection. Okay. All right, now the tensioner, it's going to have a couple of screws. They'll need to be tightened from underneath. And that should bite into the actual sheathing to prevent any pulling from occurring, to put any tension here on these connections of the terminal. All right, when you install the tensioner, you want to make sure that the screw heads are facing outboard towards you. So once it's all in place, it's going to be easier to tighten these down. You go ahead and send the cord up through. And then tighten it down as we did. Now you can go ahead and tighten down the tensioner. And it might require both hands, so. And then just tighten down the screws on the tensioner relief. it should bite down into the sheathing of the cable, the power cord. And just tighten it down evenly. You go back and forth between the two screws, Phillips. Okay, all right, just want to check your work. Make sure everything's tight and secure. All right, then we want to go ahead and put the panel back in place. You're actually going to find that you got these little hooks on the side, two at the top and two at the bottom, corresponding notches or slots in the metal of the oven. Okay, and just make sure the screw holes line up at the bottom. And go ahead and tighten it in place. All the way tight. All right, so there you go. Already go. All right, now what many ovens will come equipped with is an anti-tip bracket, and that's designed to prevent the oven from tipping forward in case the door is open and anybody's inclined to step on that oven door to get up higher to a higher position. It can cause the oven to fall forward, potentially leading to an accident. So this being a new range, in the bottom it comes equipped with that bracket. That bracket, it simply serves to the oven to slide into it and then capture the leg or the stand of the back of the oven, and then that piece connects into the baseboard or the wall to secure it in place. Now, maybe for a simple demonstration on how this works, this here is secured to the back wall or to the floor. The oven, when it slides in position, the rear foot will slide in all the way to the back, and that will prevent it from tipping. So in other words, the oven would slide back onto either the left or the right rear foot of the oven, and then the oven can't tip because this is secured and it holds the oven in place. So to make sure I measure properly and I secure it to the wall, the baseboard behind where the oven's going to be installed. Okay, here we are in the space where the oven is going to go. It's just about 30 inches wide, and the objective here is to determine the center line here and then measure over, according to the instructions, 12 9/16 inches, and that's right where the little notch at the top is going to go. And because I've got porcelain tile floors, I'm going to go ahead and use the wall installation method. There are a couple of screws supplied that'll be drilled in to the baseboard through the two holes in the unit. So since I've got 30 inches to work with, I'm going to measure to the center point, which is 15, which is right here. Okay. Always measure twice, cut once. Good advice. Okay. And then from there, I'm going to measure over to the right 12 and 9/16 inches. And that's where the center point is going to be. Going to measure in the other direction to make sure. Okay. See how that centers here. Just kind of eyeballing it here, but this looks to be where we want it. Just going to draw my vertical line here, just to get a bearing on where the top is going to be. Now I'm going to make sure that little notch falls right centered there, and here's where I'm going to drill those screws in. I want to pre-drill, little pilot holes here, although this is wood. I'm pretty confident if I get a good bit head, it'll go right in here. I'll get the drill. Okay, and there you have it. That should secure the oven. Done. Now we're going to go ahead and plug the oven in here. This new plug, it's just a bad location here down below like this. Okay, let's check. I hear a beep. There we go. Timer's on. And we're looking good. Just got to go ahead and set this oven back in its resting place here. And we should be in business. And here we have the range in its new position. Plugged in. Secured with the anti-tip bracket. And it's quite interesting here, all the different languages of warnings regarding anti-tip and using that anti-tip bracket. It's got Spanish, French, English. So apparently it's not a joke. Apparently it must result in injuries, and hopefully not worse, with folks standing on the door, particularly children, to try to reach something in the cabinets above. So, take my advice and the manufacturer's advice, install that anti-tip bracket, and then you won't have to worry about it again. Thanks for watching. Hopefully this was helpful to you. Take care and be well.